Starting with 10 electors on Monday, we then had 29 electors yesterday, and then 40 electors. And now there are over 50 electors, nearly 10% of the total electorate, demanding a full briefing on Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election before they officially cast their electoral ballots on Monday, December 19th. And these now, it started with 10. And now it is more than 50 electors. That's 10% of the electorate. They are putting pressure on the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, to tell them more about what the CIA knows about how they reached the conclusion that indeed Russian involvement helped Donald Trump win the election electorally by 58,000 votes in 3 states on November 8th. This is all Democratic electors plus Chris Saprun, who is that Republican elector that has gone public and saying that he is a Republican elector who will not vote for Donald Trump on December 19th, from the letter that these electors have signed and sent to the Director of National Intelligence. Quote, the electors require to know from the intelligence community whether there are ongoing investigations into ties between Donald Trump, his campaign, or associates and Russian government interference in the election, the scope of those investigations, how far those investigations may have reached, and who was involved in those investigations. We further require a briefing on all investigative findings, as these matters directly impact the core factors in our deliberations of whether Mr. Trump is fit to serve as president of the United States. Translated, if Russia helped Trump win, that changes what our votes may be, or what our votes should be, on December 19th. Now, the Hillary Clinton campaign has also added its name in support of this effort. This is of no importance to a ton of Trump voters who 2 years ago would have 100% agreed with Mitt Romney's statement that Russia and Vladimir Putin are our greatest geopolitical foes. All of a sudden, all these right-wingers seem completely unconcerned with Russia. I will guarantee you that the CIA could find concrete evidence that Trump colluded with Putin himself to win this election, and they would shout out that the CIA just doesn't know what it's talking about. And I want to follow up on one thing, because there have been a lot of Trumpists who, after the CIA came out and said, we've determined that Russia was involved specifically to help Donald Trump, the Trumpists have found it popular or pleasing in some way to say, this is the same CIA that got it wrong and said Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. Let me remind you, the CIA did not say Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. The Bush administration pumped up and exaggerated what the CIA had actually said about Saddam and weapons of mass destruction to make the case that Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. Colin Powell was guilty of this. Condoleezza Rice was involved in this. Dick Cheney, George W. Bush. But that meme that now is circulating that, oh, we can't believe the CIA because they're the same ones who told us beyond a reasonable doubt Iraq has weapons of mass destruction before that invasion, that is absolutely just not true. Now, one other rationalization I've been starting to see in the recesses of the right-wing websites and comment cesspools is that actually the alliance between the U.S. and Russia, really what they mean is Trump and Putin, is good because at its core, Russia is a good Christian nation that accepts Jesus and that we should be friends. Fascinating. I mean, you might as well come out and say, Putin's also really alpha or something that we would expect to hear from the alt-right. Bottom line, 6 days to go until the electors actually vote. Pretty unlikely that there's going to be any real briefing of substance. Republican electors are not really jumping on board and demanding this briefing, and we have every indication that Vladimir is going to get his White House lapdog, his violin that he'll be playing for at least 4 years. And there's not too much that anybody can do about it. But we are all aware that Donald Trump will be the weakest president that we have had in a very long time, losing the popular vote by more than 2%, mounting evidence that a foreign power with significant ties to the president-elect put a finger on the electoral scale and helped him win. And what's being ignored here is that if Russia did hack to help Trump, they did it for a reason, and that's not really being discussed much. And there's sort of two main possibilities, and both are bad. One, Russia saw a Trump win as embarrassing to the USA in a way that would allow Russia to be seen as better, smarter, more powerful, or more respectable I'm leaning sort of less in that direction. Option two is Russia wanted Trump to win because they see Trump as actually being good for them. And I'm leaning more and more in this direction, particularly now that we've seen Russia-friendly oil CEO Rex Tillerson named as the Secretary of State. Every indication that if indeed Russia was involved to help Donald Trump, it was specifically because they believed that it would be good for them. And Donald Trump's cabinet picks are certainly bolstering that hypothesis big league. Don't battle the crowds and stand in line and get into insane arguments with people over who was waiting for the parking spot in the mall parking lot first, whether it's Hanukkah shopping or Christmas shopping or Kwanzaa shopping or Festivus shopping. I believe December 23rd this year is the amazing celebration of Festivus. They're all only a couple of weeks away. And you can go to Sherry's Berries at berries.com. You can choose berries dipped in white chocolate, dipped in milk chocolate, dipped in dark chocolate. They could be topped with chocolate chips or chopped nuts or decorative swizzles. All sorts of gifts, no matter who you're buying for this year. Sherry's Berries has more than just berries. They have all sorts of new seasonal offerings as well. And here's what I love. You don't have to time your order based on when you want it delivered. You can just go to berries.com, enter the code Pakman, which will get you the $19.99 deal for my listeners and viewers only, and select the delivery date. You set it and forget it, and it shows up guaranteed fresh on the day of your choice. Go to berries.com, berries.com, click on the microphone in the top right-hand corner, and put in my code Pakman, Pakman. That will get you the $19.99 deal delivered on your choice of dates, and it will help to support the David Pakman Show.